Good morning, boys and girls. It's Mrs. Nielsen. Hope everybody had a very nice weekend. As we finish the water unit, we are going to start this week on a new unit all about plants. And remember, water is something that's very essential to plants, and you're going to see that in just a few minutes. So first, let's look and see what we know about plants, okay? What is a plant? Do you know what a plant is? I'm sure you've seen plants at home, in mommy's house. I'm sure you've seen them outside. There are many, many things around us that we call plants. Let's see on our screen what a plant is. These are some plants right here. And here's ones that are growing, some oranges it looks like, or tomatoes maybe that is. A plant is a living thing that grows in the earth and has a stem, leaves, and roots. When someone plants land with a particular type of plant, they call it a crop. They put those plants, seeds, or young trees onto the land to grow from there. For example, the apple orchards grow the apple trees. Remember when we talked about the apple orchards at the beginning of the year with Johnny Appleseed? He planted all those apple seeds, and then they became apple trees, right? Cornfields grow corn, and many people have vegetable grounds to grow all kinds of vegetables. From daisies, roses, grasses, or even giant redwood trees, plants are everywhere, and they come in all colors, shapes, and sizes. Plants are essential to all life on Earth. Plants are food for animals and us, humans, to eat. We need plants to eat, so do the animals need the plants to eat. Plants provide a place for animals to live, too, like the birds make a nest in the trees. Plants make up the rainforests, the woods, and the grasslands that many animals live in. Plants also do something very important for us. They produce a gas called oxygen that is in the air we breathe. And so they are essential in helping to keep us alive. A little bit later on, we're going to learn how we also give them a gas when we breathe out. We breathe out some carbon dioxide, and they like carbon dioxide, plants, and they take it in through their leaves. So we'll learn more about that a little bit later on. So we kind of work together, plants and humans. They give us oxygen and we give them carbon dioxide. But how do all the plants come? Where do they come from? Well, most plants grow from seed. See these little seeds in this person's hand right here? All right, let's take that box away from them. We don't need that. The beginning of their growth of a seed, they grow into a baby plant called a seedling. When it starts to grow from a seed to a baby plant, seedling, that's known as germination. A nice big word, but you're so smart, I know you could learn that word. Could you say that word with me again? Germination. That's the beginning of a seed growing into a baby plant called a seedling. Now, all seeds don't just grow on their own. They need certain things, just like we need certain things to live and grow. They need water, oxygen, and they also need the right temperature to get germinated, which means to start to grow. Today, we will explore seeds and discuss how they begin to grow, which is called sprouting, how they sprout, okay? So let's look and see what we have here. This is basically the 4 stages that a seed will go through in order to grow into a full plant. The average plant goes through these 4 stages. First, it's a seed, like the seeds in this tomato right here. Then when you put it in the soil and you give it water and sunshine and it's not too cold, it has to have the right temperature, germination will begin. That means it will start to sprout. Once it sprouts open the seed and comes up out of the ground, you'll have a baby plant. And that's called a seedling. And then as the plant grows bigger and bigger, if you take care of it, and it gets the right amount of water, the right amount of sunshine, and the temperature stays nice, it will grow into a mature plant. So those are the 4 basic stages that a seed grows through, from being a seed all the way to a full-grown plant. And then those plants that grow from this plant here are going to have more seeds in them too, okay? First, let's look at each part. A seed. The plant life cycle starts with the seed. From the outside, seeds are protected by a tough layer called an outer coat. See the seed right here? Looks like a lima bean seed, right? This green part on the outside here, usually I've seen them as white, but I think there are also some that have green like that. That's called a coat that's on it, and it helps to protect the inside of the seed. But inside every seed, there's a tiny baby plant. That's known as the embryo. The embryo already has a root, a shoot, and as well as the first leaves that will grow. So inside of that seed right there, you're going to see, if you open up the seed, there's a little tiny baby plant in there. We call it the embryo, and it has like a little root on it, and it has like 2 little leaves on it that start to grow once that seed begins to sprout open. Well, how does it sprout open? That's the process of germination. The next stage is germination. Did you know that before a seed germinates, it's kind of sleeping? Do you remember this word? We've said this word before. It is dormant. It's still alive, but it's not active. It's like sleeping. For germination, seeds need good conditions. They need water, the correct temperature, and they need to be in the right location, like in soil. Will a seed sprout in your cabinet if you keep the seeds in a cabinet? No. They need to be put in the right temperature, the right soil, the right water, needs certain conditions in order to grow. When these proper conditions are met for the seed, it will begin to open up, which is like called sprouting. The first roots begin to grow downward. That little baby plant we talked about, the embryo, will come out and it will spread. That's called sprouting. And the root part will start to grow down. There are a few tiny hairs on the root that absorb water from the soil. Do you remember the word absorb? We did that when we did water. They absorb the water. That means it soaks up the water. That's how it's like drinking the water almost, right? And the process of sprouting the seed will begin. After it was sleeping, it's not going to be dormant anymore. It's starting to grow. It's sprouting. That's called germination. Now, that's the little seedling down here. That little seed, see, that's sprouting right there. That's going to be the root. And then the next step is the seedling. The very young plant that will grow comes up out of the ground. It starts growing towards the sunlight, because remember, it needs the sun, because it's going to use the sun to make food for itself. We'll talk more about that later on. The plant needs sunlight, the nutrients and water, and it also needs the air. It needs to get the carbon dioxide in the air that we breathe out, and that's outside. So that's all part of a process called photosynthesis, and we'll talk about that later on again. And that's where it makes its own food, because it can't go to the store to buy food, could it? No, the plant has to make its own food. Photosynthesis helps the seedling grow and keep growing and growing and growing until it becomes an adult plant. Look, it went from that little tiny plant, that's called a seedling, and it's going to keep growing until it gets big and mature. And it'll start to grow flowers, and then the flowers will grow seeds, and they might grow a fruit or a vegetable. The mature plant has leaves, roots, stems, and flowers and fruits. Now, I have this little challenge for you that I'm going to show you right here, and I'll show it to you again later on. I'm going to ask for you to look for things in your house that have seeds. Try to find 3 foods in your house that have seeds. Put some seeds on a paper and then label it with the fruit or vegetable name that it will grow into if you plant it and you take care of its needs. If you give it the air, the water, and the sunlight that it needs, and you put it in the soil, right? Don't forget, these are some examples. These were tomato seeds, and these are green pepper seeds. Take a picture and send it to your teacher. Now, I'm not going to let you go just yet, because we're going to just go through this a little bit more. First, we're going to read a little book about exploring seeds so we understand a little bit more about seeds. Exploring Seeds by Kristen Sterling. That's the author. That's right. She's the one who wrote the book. Let's see what she could tell us about seeds. Okay, here's some seeds. I see seeds. Here's the seeds in the parts of the plant. That seed was planted. It started to sprout and grow roots. Remember the baby plant, and there's the embryo. And then as it comes up out of the ground, that plant will start to grow. That's called a seedling. And then it'll keep growing until it has leaves and stems and flowers or fruits, and it will grow into an adult plant. The seeds are parts of plants. Each seed can become a new plant. Seeds need water and soil to grow. Seeds crack open in the ground. They send roots down into the soil. That's just the little seed there. And see that coat's starting to come off and the baby plant's coming out. And these are the roots. Oops, sorry about that. The roots are starting to grow into the ground to hold it in the ground. And then that baby plant's going to grow up. And here's the seedling. The stems from the seeds go up into the sunlight. Soon the leaves and flowers grow. Foods we eat from around the flowers and leaves will also grow. So see, this is, it looks like a peach to me. And it's going to take a long time because it takes a long time for the tree to get big enough to grow all these fruits, right? But it just still happen. And inside of the fruit is a big seed. And that seed can grow into a new plant. People plant seeds on farms and in gardens. Seeds are also blown by the wind and moved by water. Seeds grow in pine cones. Plums have large seeds inside called pits, or sometimes the bigger seeds we call pits. People can eat seeds. Sunflower seeds are good snacks. I like pumpkin seeds, they're yummy. You can even eat the yellow seeds of a corn plant. See all those little kernels of corn? Those are actually seeds. If you were to plant that, it will eventually grow into a plant. All those little things will pop into a seed. Those seeds will open up. You have to dry first. Seeds are on your plate, in the ground, and all around you. Do you see seeds? And that's why I gave you that challenge. Look and see around your house if you see any seeds, okay? And then take those seeds out, put them on the paper for us, and label them so we know what those seeds will grow into if you plant them and take care of them, okay? This is gonna shut that one off right now too. And then, whoops, sorry about that. Took the wrong one. Let's see if I can get rid of that. Let's just go to this one. Let's see how this all happens so we can understand it even more. Are you ready? From seed to fruit. Okay. And let's begin. Follow along with me.
The seed is planted.
Well, there's the tomato seed packet. You could buy seeds in the store if you want to plant a garden of your own. And the seeds are inside that packet. Now remember, those seeds are sleeping. Do you remember what that word was? That's right, they're dormant. So now you're going to plant them into soil. Now they need some other things. Do you remember what they need?
Plants need water to grow and get bigger.
So the
They get water from rain and from us.
And maybe if it's not raining enough outside, you might have to water the plant with a hose or your garden tools, okay? You could use like the buckets to get I forget what that's called. And you put the water in the bucket and you watering can, that's it.
The seed starts to grow roots to help it get food from the soil.
Right, remember it's beginning to sprout, and that's making a seedling.
As the seed grows, its roots get longer to get more food and water from the soil.
Here's a little seedling. Those are the roots anchored in the ground. And those roots are going to drink up the water in the soil. They're going to absorb it. Remember that word? Good job. Okay. Now what happens to that one?
As the seed grows, its roots get longer to get more food and water from the soil.
That's right. Now we got this. Now it's going to get the sun, right?
Now the plant has flowers.
There you go. And then those flowers.
The flowers turn into cherry tomatoes.
This is a tomato plant.
You can pick the tomatoes to eat. Yum.
And now they're all ripe on the tree, on the little tomato plant, and you could have them as a food. So remember, the plants give us food as well.
Put the pictures of the tomato plant in order.
Okay, now Mrs. Nielsen's going to send you this too as another activity, and you're going to take these pictures and cut them out and put them in the right order and then send it back. So we know that you understand what the process is of a seed going from a seed that's asleep, dormant, to a full-grown plant. I hope you learned a lot about seeds today, and don't forget to do our challenge too. I'll send you this paper plus the challenge, and remember, this is it right here. If you need to come back and look at it, find at least 3 foods in your house that are seeds, that'll have seeds in them, or maybe you have some beans that are seeds, and put these seeds on a paper, label it with the name of the fruit or vegetable that it will grow into if you were to plant it and take care of it. I hope everyone understood what we learned about today about plants, and that it all begins with seeds, and we're going to learn a lot more about plants and have a lot of fun with plants. Thank you. Hope you have a great day. Bye-bye now.